So I, with my co-founder, have founded a platform called App. It is an inclusive and accessible social networking platform for people with disabilities. Now, one may ask, what is the need for a platform like this? You have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have other, dating apps, we have WhatsApp. So why have apps like ours? Our story is my partner Gopika and myself. Gopika couldn't be here today, but both of us are mothers to boys who have disabilities, and we felt there was a need for a platform for people with disabilities to connect with each other. Um, so, why do you think there should be a separate platform? Well, when we started doing our research, thinking about how to make this social connection platform, we started talking to a lot of people with disabilities, and they told us that a lot of platforms that they go to are not accessible. That's the problem number one. And the second problem is that when many people with disabilities get onto regular platforms, they get a sense of rejection. They get ghosted by people who are trying to, when they try to befriend someone. So we felt there was the need for a dedicated platform that was uh, specifically focusing on making social connections in the lives of people with disabilities. There are many efforts. People tend to focus on what they believe to be the more serious things: education, jobs, skilling. But we feel that social connections and friendships and community is something that is as important and requires as much focus, but somehow just does not take um, get the same importance as these other factors. So this was the idea behind us building Buddy Up Network. And because it is a platform, primarily, it is an inclusive platform. So everybody is welcome, people with and without disabilities. But our focus is people with disabilities, and therefore we have focused on accessibility. Um, we are a small, self-funded, bootstrapped venture, and I keep thinking about the fact that, if a small effort like ours could focus on accessibility, surely it should be easy for, platforms with many more funds at their disposal to take these simple steps to make their platforms accessible. So just to tell you a little bit about our platform, there are two sections on the platform. There are self-users, who are people with various disabilities. We have visually impaired, hearing impaired. We have people with neurodivergence, physical disabilities. They're all on one platform together. One can look for friendship. One can look for companionship. You can look for a life partner. You can indicate on your platform on your profile what you are looking for, and you can also look for just a community. So it's kind of, our platform is a mix of, like a mix of WhatsApp and Instagram, and like a kind of a mixed. It's basically a community for the disability community to come together. And as I said, it is open to people with and without disabilities, but people with disabilities on our platform are the majority, and people without disabilities are a minority, which is the opposite of what happens on mainstream platforms. So therefore, our design is focused, keeping the considerations of people with disabilities in mind. So when you make a profile on our platform, one of the things that you mention in your profile is your disability. So the fact is that you don't have to then later on mention it or have any fear of being rejected. For you come as a person with disability with great pride and about your identity as a person with disability, and it's not like an after thing that you have to mention to somebody after getting into a conversation with them. So the idea was to build a platform where people with disabilities can come together. Even people with varied disabilities sometimes have areas of common concern, common areas that they can talk about, bond over. And we also love the fact that we have this cross disability platform, because what happens typically in the disability sector is people stick to their own disability. So usually visually impaired people will only no other visually impaired people, or hearing impaired people have their own community, or people with autism will have their own community. So as a parent to a person with disability, I also for many years just knew my area of disability that I was focused on. So I think it is wonderful to have a platform with where people with disability of all kinds of disabilities can come together, share their common concerns, and find friendship and community um, with each other. um, and I think, as I said before, our biggest focus is really on accessibility. We are screen reader compatible. We are, it's a it's something that is very new to us, as founders. But we, within a course of the year, we take feedback from our users. Every time there's an update, if someone comes to us and tells us, "Oh, this button is not accessible," or "This aspect is not accessible," we go back and in the next update we try to fix it. So I really feel like we need to bring conversations about accessibility out into the general population, because people are just simply unaware. And I think it is something that everybody can and should, focus on. Um, I think that's a very brief introduction to our platform, which is, as I said, an accessible and inclusive platform for people with and without disabilities. So we hope a lot of people out there will join the community and find friends and companions and the kind of support networks that they are looking for.